Welcome back to Golden Goose and my Team Builder Dynasty series that follows the South Canadian Wild Geese. And in this episode, we are doing our offseason, the complete offseason, changing conferences, recruiting players, cutting players, and managing our schedule and depth chart for next season. But as you can see, head coach Goose Johnson has a contract offer. Let's view it. A 7-year extension. The Wild Geese are like, hey, you won us the Armed Forces Bowl in the first season. You won the Fight Hunger Bowl in the second season. We were 10-3 each season, getting progressively harder in conference play, 20-6 as a school, and Goose Johnson has been a part of all of that. 3-1 against top 25 teams, 0-1 against rivals. But I mean, hey, I think Goose Johnson should extend because, honestly, he's bringing a dynasty to South Canadian. So we're going to say yes, we will extend 7 seasons with the Wild Geese. Now let's advance to the next stage. Now here is our players leaving, and look at this. Nathan Quinn, pro draft, he is projected to go round number 7. That would be crazy. If he gets drafted, guys, that would be the first ever player to come out of South Canadian Wild Geese history to be drafted into the NFL. And I mean, hey, he was a great halfback for us. He had a great junior season. His senior year wasn't really all that hype. But I mean, as a 7th round pick, I mean, I think there's some value in Nathan Quinn in the NFL. I do think it'll take him quite a few years to really blossom, but he's really the only one. Even Herb Kirk isn't going to get a shot at the NFL really unless it's through a free agency. Maybe the AAF or the XFL eventually will take some of these guys. But Nathan Quinn projected to go in the 7th round of the pro draft. That's amazing. Let's check out the draft results and see if Nathan Quinn was drafted. And he was in the 7th round. Nathan Quinn is in the NFL. That is amazing. Our first ever player to make it to the NFL. And he was a halfback. I mean, like I said, junior year, total workhorse. Senior year, I mean, he was okay. But I'm really excited to see how he blossoms in the NFL. We're going to have to be tuning into some of his games. We don't have any players really requesting a transfer. That's not a big surprise. I mean, having a player get drafted in the NFL draft is going to help our draft potential for any recruits looking at the school, knowing that we do have the opportunity to put some of these players into the pros. Now, as you can see, I mean, it's time for recruiting, and this is going to be really crucial. We're really far behind on this cornerback. I mean, I'm not even that into really getting this guy, so I think I'm actually going to just remove him, and we're going to focus on some of these athletes, these 5-star recruits. I really badly want to get these guys. These are guys that I think we could do some amazing things with, and we're going to probably throw 1,000 points at this guy. We are behind NIU here on the board. Let's just toss 1,000 at him. This is a 2-star recruit, not very interested. I mean, if we can pick him up, scoop him up, see if he can make some type of impact in a couple of seasons, we'll do that. He can be some depth chart fodder. So we'll just throw 250 his way. This athlete, another 5-star athlete. We're barely behind. I think that's the University of Colorado. So let's just toss a few more points his way. I don't know if we're going to need 1,000, but I don't really want to take any risks. So let's just do 800. Just really want to get these athletes because they could really play any position. This is the number 4 athlete in the country. This is the number 2 athlete. So let's toss we're going to toss 1,000. I'm not going to have any regrets after this. I want to know we went after these guys with everything we had. Now this defensive end, 3-star prospect, a JUCO player. I mean, not someone I'm going to throw 1,000 points at, but 400. Let's hope we can seal the deal. 4-star outside linebacker. We really have a great defense. We had a great defense all season. I'd say it was definitely a top 5 defense overall. So, I mean, we do need improvements on defense. We really are looking for new offensive players to help build our squad. Let's go with 600 points on this man. This outside linebacker, obviously, we want to try to get all the players we possibly can. And I just really want to secure the ones we already have. We can go look into recruiting and see if there's any players that we haven't really looked at that maybe aren't close to committing to any teams, and we could toss some points at them. Or maybe we could try to take a flyer and really toss a lot of points at somebody and hope for the best. A hard-hitting corner, let's just toss 500 on him. And a run-blocking center. I mean, we pretty much have these guys secure, so just going to toss 500 points at this guy as well. I really just want to make sure we can get everyone on our board. So now these guys that are this is a pretty close race with Florida. I think I'm going to toss a few more points on this man, maybe get him to 800. This is a pretty close race against South Carolina. And like I said, athletes I think are going to be really important for us because we can pretty much put them at any position. Army and the New Mexico Lobos are after this outside linebacker. 4-star recruit. Definitely want to get more of those 4- and 5-star recruits to commit. 3 stars, I mean, I'm still really excited about 3-star recruits as well. But like I said, those 4 stars are what I'm really trying to get to commit. But that's everyone on our recruiting board that hasn't committed. Oh, we forgot a couple people. We forgot a couple people over here. Okay, so this wide receiver, he's a 4-star. I mean, if he doesn't commit, I would be shocked, but we're going to just toss 500 on him just to make sure he doesn't think we're not interested. And then we have this amazing halfback that we badly need. You know, we lost Nathan Quinn, so I'm going to toss 700 on him so he knows we want him. So the lowest non-locked players, I mean, we have an 18% here. This is a halfback. He's looking to be 70 overall. Let's keep going down. This quarterback is somewhat interested in us. We really don't need a quarterback. Halfback is something we would need. I think I'm going to grab this wide receiver, see if we can toss some points his way. I really only want to throw the rest of our points at 4- and 5-star recruits, but they can't be too committed, otherwise it's almost going to be impossible to get them, and I don't want to have to deal with anything like that. There's another 4-star recruit up here. Let's see, that is a halfback, 69 overall. Not really looking to grab anyone like that because we already have some great athletes that could easily be halfback, quarterbacks, wide receivers. As you can see, a lot of these guys are only 2- and 3 stars that haven't made decisions yet or haven't locked anyone down. We go through this, a lot of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, no 4 stars, and we're just like flying through this right now. Yeah, there's no real potential recruits here that we would even want or that we could even lock down at this point. Most of these guys are 100% locks. You know what? I think I will toss some on this 4-star halfback just in case something bad happens. Okay, so here's that halfback. Alabama's in the lead. I mean, we could swoop in and easily claim this guy. He's a balanced halfback. Let's offer him a scholarship, obviously. We got to get those points out there. Give him 1,100 recruiting points. And then what's this wide receiver? We do need more wide receivers. I think I'm just going to toss the majority of the points that are left over onto this kid and hope he maybe commits to us. Let's do like, yeah, then I can toss a few more on this guy. Let's go down just a little bit on Marcus Johnson. Okay, let's toss a few more on Michael Reese because he's pretty talented athlete. So there we go. All of our points are spent. I'm kind of excited now. Wow, here's our results. Almost no one committed to us. We had the center, a left outside linebacker. This is not what I expected. We had the lead on like 5 of those guys. And then all these guys literally went and committed to somebody else, even though we literally threw 1,000+ points on these guys. I should have picked 2 or 3 and just threw like 10,000 points on them. That's so disappointing. Like, losing out to some of these schools, like we fell way down on some of these guys' lists, and that's beyond disappointing. We tried so hard to recruit some of these players all season long. I mean, we got a few solid recruits, but oh my God. Let's look at some training results. Obviously, we don't expect to see any results from the freshman, but Orlando Everett, +6 overall. He's now an 85 overall junior. Tom Barrett's a junior redshirt at 84 overall. But I think, obviously, Orlando Everett's our man. That's who we're going to stick with. Tom Barrett will be a decent backup for him if he ever gets hurt. But I love the scrambling dynamic of Orlando Everett. And then over here, we have another junior, Robbie Diggs. So, I mean, we're going to have to recruit a quarterback this year. All of our guys are juniors. We're going to want to start prepping, but they're all solid quarterbacks. I mean, our depth chart's pretty stacked. Halfback-wise, we have a junior, Jaron Roden. We've seen him active over the last couple of years. Now, he's an 80 overall, but then our next best halfback is Trey Horn, another junior, and then we have a sophomore at 72. So, I mean, we really don't have any explosive backs. This guy's a junior. We're going to have him next season, most likely. 80 overall, not bad. Fullback, pretty decent too. Anthony Thomas, 70 overall. Good lead blocking back. Wide receiving core, Bernard Scruggs returns at 89 overall. Then we have Myron Morgan. These both are seniors, so, I mean, we're going to be saying goodbye to them. But 86 overall, Jose Golden, the Golden Boy, another senior. So these 3 receivers, our best receivers, we're going to be losing after this season. So recruiting receivers is going to be important, but we do have a solid core this season. Another senior in Kennard Williams, another senior in Harry Horton, and then we have a freshman redshirt and a sophomore. So these 2 are going to be leading next season. So we're really hoping that we can recruit some decent receivers, but we have 5 great ones that are all seniors this year. Tight end wise, we're struggling. We have a freshman and a junior. Robinson is a 65 overall, so probably going to be looking to recruiting for that as well. Left tackle, only 66 overall, and then we have a junior at 64. Definitely got to look at our offensive line. Left guard, another senior. Our center is a senior. We do have this freshman redshirt at 68, so he'll be around to probably be a 74 or so overall next season, and I hope that he can maybe take that starting job. But we definitely have to look at the offensive line. We do have a sophomore on the right side of things who's pretty powerful. We're pretty happy with him, and a junior here on the right side. So we have to look at the left side and maybe the center position, but the left guard is going to be gone next year, and our left tackle needs improvement anyways. So we're going to have to look at the offensive line and new wide receivers. Those are going to be our most important. Next year is going to be more focused on quarterbacks and halfbacks. Left end, a freshman redshirt, Mike Bush, 75 overall. Then we have a senior backing him up at 70 overall. But hey, that left end, that's great. He'll probably be in the 80 overall category next season. Right end, we have a senior, Paris Dykes. We know him, we love him. You know, he's been here every year since we've started. This is going to be his 3rd season, a senior now, though. 80 overall. But then we have Bailey, another senior behind him at 77. And then a freshman, Joe Brown. He's a redshirt player. He's 70 overall, but I think maybe we'll look at right end since we are losing 2 of these guys. So that's someone we'll probably look at recruiting as well. Defensive tackles, 2 seniors starting, 75 overall Rawlings and 76 overall Baldwin. So we're going to have to be looking at defensive tackles. Even our 3rd string is a senior, but we do look pretty good on the defensive line. Left outside linebackers, we have a 79 overall senior, Robinson. He's going to really dominate that left side, but we did pick up a couple young recruits. Obviously, we're not going to see them in training points here, but I am really liking this freshman redshirt, 66 overall. We have this junior redshirt. He'll probably be starting next season in the mid-70s or be in the 2nd string spot because we do have this junior that'll probably be in the upper 70s next year. So I don't know if I'm going to look at left outside linebackers this year, but I think we definitely have to look at defensive tackles and right ends. Middle linebacker position's looking fine. I mean, I think over the next couple of years, these guys will really progress. We have a freshman redshirt and a sophomore redshirt. Right outside linebacker, freshman, junior, and sophomore. Pretty decent skill. Not really going to be looking too much at that. Cornerbacks, a lot of young guys. We literally lost a lot of our cornerbacks after last season, but we still have 3 guys over 70 overall. Maybe we'll try to recruit 1 or 2 more solid players, but otherwise, all of these guys are pretty much sophomores. At least 3 of the 5 are, and 4 of the 6 are sophomore or below, so pretty young at this position. Free safety, Dottie, the returning god. We're going to be losing him after this year. He was redshirted last year. He's a senior redshirt this year from Mansfield, Ohio, 86 overall. Then we have a sophomore behind him who's really decently skilled. Probably don't have to recruit anybody, but Dottie's going to have an electric season this year. Strong safety, a freshman, redshirt's getting the start. Fred Hood, 71 overall. Probably want to look at this position a little bit, but he had decent training this offseason, so who knows, by his sophomore year, he could be a low 80 overall player. Kicker, we have a freshman redshirt, 84 overall, and then we have an 81 overall senior as a backup kicker. We probably won't keep both of them. And a punter, we have to recruit one of these. He's an 87 overall, but it is his senior year. So we do have this freshman quarterback. He's a 3-star. I mean, I think he's going to be kind of a bust. He doesn't quite fit the scrambling setup here. He is just a couple speed points slower than Everett, but his acceleration's 10 points less. You know, he is a freshman. He could come in and get better, but we have 3 juniors right now, and I think a 62 overall, just not someone we're really interested in keeping around. We do have to cut 5 players, and already with 3 quarterbacks deep, I think that's more than enough. Halfbacks, okay? I mean, we have 2 freshmen. I mean, I think both of these guys could really see a decent increase. Obviously, this guy's an 80 speed, 78 excel. This guy's an 88 speed, 74 excel. I really like Joseph Jefferson. He is a freshman. I'll probably redshirt him this year. Let's get rid of Jamie Davis. We're going to keep Jefferson because my hope is next year will be his freshman, our redshirt year, and then we'll be seeing these guys as seniors. This guy is a junior, and hopefully this guy can be in his mid-60s. And then by the time he's a sophomore redshirt, he'll be in the lower 70s and be a decent backup. We have 2 fullbacks, don't really need that. Both of them are, one's a sophomore, one's a freshman. We're going to get rid of the sophomore. Or maybe we won't. We need 2 of them, I guess, for the package we run. Wide receivers, we were able to recruit this man. He's a balanced receiver. I think he's going to be pretty solid. I'm not going to get rid of any of our receivers. I think this whole core group is going to really grow. These guys are going to be here next year, these three, so this is what we're hopefully building off of. See some of these guys in the upper 70s and mid 70s next season, and then the rest of these guys are seniors. Tight ends, a 46 overall. Tight end, we're going to cut this player. A junior left tackle who's worse than our freshman left tackle. He's going to be going too. This freshman center and this freshman redshirt center, they could be something in the next couple of years. I'm actually pretty excited to see these guys develop. This junior right guard probably will never see play. I think what I'm going to most likely do is I want to cut probably this redshirt guy because at least we can, redshirt this junior. And if we ever actually need him, which I don't think we're going to need 4 deep, right outside linebacker, so I'm actually going to cut him. I was going to try to keep him, but we have 2 freshman redshirts and a sophomore. This position's pretty stacked. Now it's time to look at custom conferences, and I mean, the American Conference has been nice, but I want to look at putting the Wild Geese somewhere that could give us a huge chance at contention. I mean, we've been in, I'd say, subpar conferences since our inception, obviously, which was only 2 seasons ago. So I'm trying to decide where I want us to go. The Sun Belt, I think, is just too easy. It's pretty much the American. We've been in the CUSA. I don't want to be an independent. The MAC and the MWC aren't that great. Pac-12, that just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, SEC, not ready for that. But I think, Big Ten would be interesting. And I think it would be a fun way to play this game. Obviously, we'd be facing off against some tougher teams. And I don't know what side I want to be on, the leaders or the legends. I think I'm going to be on the leaders because I grew up in Wisconsin. It would be fun to face Wisconsin. So I'm going to toss us there, and we'll see what we can do in the Big Ten. I've been thinking about this decision. I think this conference would be interesting. It would bring some new recruits and open up some new lanes for the Wild Geese. Now let's set up our recruiting board for next season. I don't think we're going to be looking at any quarterbacks or anything like that. Halfbacks are somebody I do want to look at. I do want to find players that are interested in playing for us already, so we have a chance to acquire them during the season. Goose Johnson's getting a lot better at recruiting. So let's look at this guy right here, Jerome Carter, a balanced back. I mean, I do want to look for a speed back. I want someone fast so he can run a really fast option. But it looks like this guy runs a 4.5 40. I mean, not electric, but that's almost as fast as it gets. 4.4 would be nice, but that's one of the best backs in the nation. And I think that's going to be a really tough sell to try to pick up that man. I mean, we could try, but it's going to be tough. You know what? I think I'll put Austin Thomas on. Actually, he's not a speed back. He's a power back, but he runs a 4.4 40, which is surprising. This man's a speed back at a 4.3 40. Well, let's add that. Let's add him to our board. Ernie Keller speed. I mean, it's a long shot, and I only want to try to recruit 2 halfbacks, so those will be the 2 we look at this season. Wide receivers, we have 4 or 5 seniors this year, so obviously this is going to be a concern we need to address. We can address this via athletes, and we can address it via actual receivers. But right here, it looks like we have a possession receiver. We're going to need some of those to run any type of slot plays over the middle, or any guys that have good hands. So anyone that's interested, I'm willing to kind of give a chance first. I want to try to lock in some of those guys and put some of our recruiting efforts towards them. This guy's not very electric, and we already have 2 possession guys, so I think we're going to move on, find some other guys that might be a bit more electric. All these possession dudes, I want some guys that can burn guys deep. Possession's not really what we need. 5 possession receivers. Okay, a speed receiver and a balanced receiver. These might not be 2 half-bad picks right here, but I really want to try to stick to 4- and 5-star recruits this year. Obviously, I don't think the Wild Geese deserve only that, but 3-star I want to be our lowest tier. And I think what I'll do in each category is trying to take one of the best players and go after him as well. So let's try Thomas Jenkins, the #1 receiver. We did that with the halfbacks. I mean, it's a long shot, but maybe we have a chance. He is from New York. That's close to Canada. Now, tight ends, that's actually something we badly need. I mean, and I want some guy. We only have 3 tight ends really interested in playing for us. And, I mean, they're all blocking tight ends. I mean, I really do like a tight end that can go out and catch the ball and block. I mean, balanced would be perfect. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to look at these overalls. I think we're going to, watch Tony Washington. And then I want to go after a guy that might be a little bit balanced here and have, like, a very low commitment. So this guy, 17% lock. He's a balanced tight end at 74 overall. And maybe we'll even look at Mike Gooden because we do need 2 tight ends badly. So let's look at these guys. Tackles, we need tackles. I mean, left tackles and left guards, those are the side of the offensive line that really needs work. I mean, run blocking is probably key to our tackles because we're going to do options and a lot of running. But, I mean, Everett has looked good through the air, but I think just moving forward into the future, we either want balanced or run blocking. So let's go ahead and look at some of these guys. This guy's a balanced player. They have a lot of interest in playing for us, so I think we're going to scoop up a couple of these tackles. And we don't really need a right tackle, but we do need a left guard. This guy's got number 1 intent, pass blocker, but you can't pass up that kind of talent. This guy's a run blocker with number 2 intent, a pass blocker, a run blocker. We'll go after this guy. And I mean, that's good enough guard-wise and tackle-wise. Centers, I mean, we could use one. I mean, we'll only look at one because we do have 2 freshmen. One's a red shirt that I think will blossom into something. So we'll just kind of look at this one guy, Eric Kane. He's a balanced center. Defensive end, we are losing our right defensive end here. I do like pass rushers, so we're going to try to lock in some of those. We have this 4-star. He's balanced, and he doesn't seem really like a 4-star. This 3-star seems more like a diamond in the rough. But let's maybe just lock this guy in 2. Look at 2 of these guys so our depth chart's a little bit deeper on the defensive end position. Defensive tackles, we are losing both of our defensive tackles. Nice pass rusher here. Run stoppers, I mean, we do need to try to keep it a bit balanced. So I guess I will. I don't want it to be like so far leaning pass rusher-wise that we don't know how to wrap up a running back. So, I mean, I'm going to try to probably recruit like 4 or 5 of these guys just in case some of them fall through. That should be enough. No electric outside linebackers. I mean, it's not like our position needs a lot of improvement anyways. I think I will just recruit Beverly because he is a good run stopper. He could probably be like a magnet to a running back, so we'll look at him. Middle linebacker, not a very good overall player here. I would like to get a new middle linebacker, but we're pretty young in our linebacking core. I mean, I guess we'll just try to recruit one of the best players and see what happens. This guy's only a 14% lock, so maybe we can convince him. Not a lot of players interested in us this season. These 2 3-star recruits, I mean, we'll put them on our board at cornerback, and it looks like free safety. We really don't have anyone that interested in playing for us this season, which is, it's really tough because, I mean, we've had some pretty good seasons. We do need some free safeties and strong safeties as well, which it just makes it harder and harder when no one wants to actually play for you. So I'm going to just try to lock down a couple of these guys. Now, our kicker is relatively young. We don't need him. We do need a new punter. We could toss, I don't know, some small money towards some of these guys, some small recruiting and points. We'll just, look at 2 punters. I don't want to look at too many. No athletes are interested in us, so, I mean, I'm just going to try to recruit some of the top ones. There, our board is full, so I guess we'll just recruit the top 2 athletes, see what we can do with these guys. But it's going to be tough sledding this year. Let's scout some of these players right now. I'm really curious to see how some of these players actually perform after scouted. So this, number 1 athlete in the nation, he's gone down a little bit. He's an 80 overall. This athlete was number 2. He's fallen down a little bit. Okay, so not solid recruits. Every recruit we have looked at so far has dropped a point or 2. Punter went up to 80 overall. Ooh, that punter fell way off. And I mean, it's not even really worth our recruiting efforts. This wide receiver, decent acceleration and speed. He's going to burn people down the field. Free safety. I'm just seeing if we can find any gems here. This middle linebacker is pretty solid. But a lot of these guys don't have any interest in... Oh, there's a gem. There we go. That's nice. That's a tight end, 82 overall. I mean, we're going to want this guy, and we're going to want him bad. That's the only gem we found so far was that tight end. We've used almost all of our recruiting points looking at these players. I'm really curious. Ooh, there's a bust here in this defensive end. We're going to remove him off our board as well. Another bust in this center. Darn. And another bust in this guard. Wow. Orlando Everett this year. That's just not something I want to do. I want him to be able to play. He had a really good season to finish off last year, and, I mean, these guys can just back him up. We will redshirt this Joseph Jefferson at halfback. He's a freshman. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be big starter material, but he could be good, third down back material one day. Fullback. I mean, Ben McKenzie is, electric. We'll redshirt this freshman Anthony Thomas, and Oh, we could redshirt 2 of our senior wide receivers and keep them, but they're our 2 best receivers, so I'll just redshirt this freshman. Hopefully he can develop, and then we'll have 2 sophomore, a junior and a sophomore and a freshman redshirt next year. Kind of like a mishmash of everybody in our starting receiving core. Left tackle's just as good as our senior left tackle, so I'm going to redshirt the freshman. Hope that the senior can pull some weight for us this season, and then the freshman could be a freshman redshirt next year in the 70 overall range. And this freshman center, I'm going to redshirt him. Sophomore right guard, we badly need him to start this year, so he's not going to get the red shirt. This junior right tackle, I mean, we'll just put him on red shirt because we already have 2, and why waste a player? And this freshman right outside defensive end here, I mean, right end, not great, we'll just redshirt him. Defensive tackle, well, we'll redshirt these 3 defensive tackles. I don't think we'll keep these 2 next season, but this junior could be really good next year, and we'll still get 2 years with him. Freshman left outside linebacker. This guy's electric, just right behind Robinson. We'll definitely redshirt him. He could be an 80 overall player in his freshman year next year. Crappy middle linebacker. We'll redshirt him, though. Okay, cornerbacks here. Our best cornerback is a true freshman. Want to keep him in. We have a young, cornerback core here. I think we'll redshirt this senior. Maybe he'll be a little bit better next year and can compete up here, and then maybe next year we'll redshirt one of these guys, and we can kind of play that game. So I think I'll redshirt these 2, because then we still have 5. I mean, ooh, that puts us, I'll let the senior play. We'll redshirt this sophomore. Yeah, because I don't want this guy to start. Hunter doesn't seem very electric. Freshman free safety kind of sucks. We'll redshirt him. Oh, this junior strong safety, not bad. He probably won't get to start next year over this potential sophomore next season, but let's just redshirt him to see what happens. So here's our schedule. It's already a B plus in strength because obviously we're in the Big Ten. It's a tough conference to be in. I want our first game of the season to be a home opener. Let's have Western Michigan come in. Actually, no. I want to open. We deserve this. Fufu Sissy team. Let's have the SCS Southeast come in to South Canadian, and that'll warm things up. Then we'll go to Virginia, and then Georgia State can come to us, and then Houston. Let's change that up. Let's make it a little bit different, a little bit more difficult on us, so it's not like we're taking all the little easy routes out of this. Let's maybe go against like a Navy, U.S. versus Canada, and we'll play at Navy. That'll be good. And then there we go. The rest of the schedule's looking pretty good. Actually, let's make Navy come to us because the U.S. will have to invade Canada. So 4 of our first 5 games are home games. That should be good. Then we have away. So we have 4 away games to finish out the year. That's going to be tough against some tough opponents. 24 overall Michigan State, 5 overall Ohio State, 12 overall Nebraska. Wisconsin's a great team. Obviously, Michigan's a great team. So, yeah, we start off a little bit easy with Virginia. Let's change this up. I want it to be a little bit more challenging. Let's maybe go with, should we go with Georgia? I think at Georgia's a better matchup. And then having Georgia State come to us, that might just be too easy as well. Let's maybe have, what do I want? I kind of want to play Syracuse. If they're available, I don't know if they're going to. Ooh, whoa. Let's play Kansas. Let's have Kansas come to us. We'll go to Georgia, and then we'll have Navy come to us as well. So pretty tough schedule actually in comparison to our overall to start things off. But FCS Southeast to kind of open things up. So now that we are into the next season, let's check out the championship contenders, see where we rank. We were ranked 11th to finish the season out. It looks like they have us at 44. Not bad. We're 77 overall now. We have an 81 offense and a 75 defense. So honestly, if you look at our recruiting, we are recruiting heavily on the defensive side. We're looking at defensive ends, tackles. We're looking at a couple corners, free safeties, strong safeties. Free safeties and strong safeties, that's our weakest spot right now. I think our cornerback core will get extremely good going into next season. We'll definitely be looking probably at an 83, 84 overall squad, I think, next year. But we are a 3-star prestige school, and I mean, I think 44 overall, that gives us a chance to get in the top 25 early, probably going into our first 2 or 3 weeks of conference play. So after 6 games or so, I think we could be in the top 25 and looking at a decent bowl game this year. We're just going to have to show that we belong in the Big Ten. Here's the conference outlook. The Big Ten leaders, Ohio State 97 overall, or 77. Wisconsin's 86, so that's a team we could easily beat, if we put our mind to it. Their defense is pretty bad. 91 Penn State, that's going to be a tough one. Illinois is a team we could beat. Indiana is a team we could beat, and Purdue. So, the ones we really have to worry about are Penn State and Ohio State. But, I think we could have a decent season. I really hope that we can at least win 8 games this season. It is a much tougher conference, but, in 2 years or so, I expect that we could really be in contention to win this conference with a team that's probably about 87 overall. Toughest places to play. I don't see the Igloo on here just yet in the top 10. Let's see if we're even on this list here. There it is, number 33. We have a 1-game home winning streak. We're 9-3 at home. Have 77,000 people attend our games. Obviously people in Canada are loving football right now. 9-3 home record, not bad. And I think this year we could easily get another 7 home game wins. I think we have about 7 home games. It just depends on who we have to face at home. I know the first 3 home games we have aren't against the toughest of teams. It's going to be still hard to get the W, but I really hope we can get this win streak really cooking. The biggest home win streak right now goes to Oregon. They have a 14-game home win streak. Biggest losing streak at home goes to the South Alabama Jaguars with a 12-game losing streak. Ouch. So here's all the players on our recruiting board. Our largest deficit, 650 points. That's obviously not bad when we think about last season and how big of deficits we've had on some people. But what I want to do is, for people that we have a deficit on, I want to try to do 300 points plus in recruiting. I'm not going to offer any scholarships just yet. I want to save that for week 3 or so and just kind of see how some of these players are establishing. This quarterback is someone we're just taking a chance on, Jamal Wagner. We are on his board, number 6, so I think I'm going to toss 400 at him because he is a 5-star recruit. So any 5-star recruits, I think I'll toss 400 points on them, see if they're interested. 4-star recruits can be 300. I just really think strong safeties, free safeties, defensive tackles, wide receivers, those are very, very important players right now because we're losing a lot of them, or those positions are suffering, especially left tackles and left guards. Those are players we're going to come hard at. So let's toss 300 on some of these guys and just let them know that we're interested, we're watching. This free safety, it's a player we really need. I don't know if we're in the lead too much on any of the players we have on our recruiting board. We do have 35 players on this board. I think probably 10 players might be interested in enough to where we might be in the lead for them. And I would want to get those players early. I want to get players to commit. And that's the biggest thing. Last year, it was hard to get players to commit. We were dancing with them all season, having a 1,500-point lead, but we couldn't get them to commit, and that really hurt us in the offseason, where we lost a lot of those recruiting battles to some bigger, better schools. But now that we're in a good conference, we had a guy get drafted in the NFL this last offseason. Our coach re-signed a 7-year deal, and we've been winning bowl games. I honestly think this year in recruiting could go a little bit better for us. This guy is the Gem 82 overall tight end, Marquise Williams. Really badly want this guy. He's a 4-star prospect, but he's a 5-star caliber player. Gonna toss 400 at him early. We're running out of recruiting points, and we're not out of the negatives yet, so I definitely want to go back, save some points for some of the players that are already close to committing to us or that we have leads on, but I just want to kind of disperse these points. And now that we're out, let's see how many players we have a lead on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So cornerback, he's a 3-star caliber player. A tackle, a tight end, a guard, and a defensive tackle. These are all players we need. They're all 3-star. We do have 1 4-star player, but I do want to get these guys and get them to commit to us. So we're going to have to make sure we save some points for them. Then we're really close on this 4-star halfback, that corner, another tackle, and this defensive tackle. So I really want to make sure we can spread some points. So let's go back and just minus just a few points off of some of these players. Maybe bring most of these guys down to the 250 level or 350 level, just so we have points to spread across some of the players that are actually considering us, and then we can hunt some of these guys. And obviously after 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to know who's not even close to interested in us. And this season, I'm going to try to give up a little bit earlier on some players. If we have a 1,500-point deficit early, I think it's best to just drop them and keep focusing on players that want us and constantly going and revisiting the recruiting board, which is something we really didn't do last season. I think we only really got 10 recruits that we wanted and needed, so that hurt. So that kind of hurt us this season. I think if I would have played it a little bit smarter, we would have been an 80 overall squad. Now our defense is suffering. Our offense is looking good. Our defense was the underdog on paper last year, and they probably performed better than anybody. So, I mean, I can't say too much about them. How many points do we have? So, 700 points. I'm going to put some on this punter. I just don't want to toss too much on these smaller positions right now. We'll put 100 on him. This wide receiver, this is a position we badly need. Obviously, we are losing our punter. He is a senior. He will be gone after this year. But I just don't want to toss everything we have at a special teams position. I know that sounds wrong, but it's just we have to focus our little bit of energy we have and the little bit of power we have on some of these guys that could be playmakers and make a serious difference. I think this is going to be it. So, Tained, we still don't have enough points. I got to make sure we can get more points on some of these guys. So, let's go 150 on most of these guys, 200 on some. I'm going to go down to 300 max for most players, I think. 400 for the best player we have, who I think is a real gem. So, let's go down to 300 on this halfback, a 5-star caliber player. I mean, it's going to be tough because I want all these guys. If we could get all these guys, we'd be like a 85 overall next season. But I know that's not going to happen, obviously. We are in a better conference now, but it's going to be hard to swing that kind of momentum. So let's go down here to 200, 200. I know that was kind of bold to try to throw 400 on all the players, but I kind of want to see how some of these players respond to these numbers and how we're recruiting them. And if we are down by 1,000, then I'll just give up on those players. Because I constantly have to reevaluate the recruiting board. If I don't think we're going to have a good recruiting season, and then we could fall out of relevancy next year early, within 2 years. And the goal for me is to rebuild this program year in and year out. So, I mean, I want 150 on every player minimum. And obviously, if we have a lead on them or we're close to a lead, I'm definitely comfortable with that. So some of the players were further off from a lead. I'm more comfortable throwing 200 to 400 points on them. This defensive tackle, I mean, like, these are all players we badly need. These are all positions we badly need. We're not really throwing any fluff positions at anybody. God darn. Okay, so this is going to be tough. I'm going to have to lower. This is that tight end. We badly want this player, but, I mean, I think I'm just going to have to take him down to 300. Take this guy down to 250. You know, some of these 300 guys, because we need to make sure we spread our board well enough to, like, hopefully pull in some of these guys that are interested. I want them to know if they're interested, we're interested. And I have to offer scholarships to get some of these guys to commit, so I'm really just kind of looking for that first week to be over, and then we'll kind of see where we go from there. But let's just toss 50 off of him. I really want this strong safety, too, so we're going to have to be careful. Don't want to go too low. Our highest player is this tight end. He's 82 overall. I want him because we throw to the tight end a lot, and if I can secure a tight end of that caliber, that's like a Gronkowski. I mean, if we can have a Gronkowski playing for the Wild Geese, that would be absolutely amazing. So let's just give points to everybody here. Looks like everyone's going to get at least 150 points, which is good because I want to get some of these green guys to definitely commit to us. This guy's going to get 100. That's fine. We got the biggest lead on him. So there we go. Our recruiting points are spent. We're not going too hard on anybody, but I think the max we can spend on a player is 600, so we're not really committing to anybody, but I want to see if any of these gaps close. But next episode, guys, we will be getting into the season play. I mean, our schedule is stacked. I'm really excited. The Big Ten is our conference. We have a better team, almost 80 overall, sitting at 77. A lot of the teams in our conference are in the mid to lower 80s overalls, so I think we're really going to have a chance to at least win 8 games this season, be in the national radar again, maybe be a top 25 team to finish the season off, get a good bowl game, and hopefully get our 3rd consecutive bowl game win, and then have a banger recruiting season next year. And looking at a mid-80 overall squad, hopefully going into Season 4. I mean, we're becoming a powerhouse. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. But until next time, peace out.